Hello, hello. How is everybody? As you can see, I'm solo tonight. It is just me. Susie and Sarah had other commitments, so you get me tonight. If you don't know, my name's Megan, and this is a discussion with the Blue Bookmark Book Club. So if you are new, hit subscribe and hit that bell so you can get notifications on anytime we go live or post a video. Let me know who's here. Let me know, one, where you're tuning in from, and two, tell me something about your week. Thank you, Sarah. So I colored it, well, a couple, I guess, like last week, and I went from that purple, so I had to pull through some orange, and I colored over it this weekend, and I just washed it today with the purple shampoo, and it was like life-changing. So for anyone who cares. But we are here to talk about Lisa Jewell, Invisible Girl. I've had this sitting on my shelf since it came out with Book of the Month. I love her. I don't know why I kept putting it off, but I did. So, yeah, it was really great. Let me know what you all think about it. So if you haven't read Lisa Jewell before, she is an author out of London. I think she started off writing rom-coms, but that didn't really hit for her. So then she moved into psychological thrillers, and that's where she really hit her groove. Let's see. From her so far, I've read, obviously, The Family Upstairs, which is a book of the month. The Third Wife, that was really good. An Invisible Girl, and The Night She Disappeared, which was also an add-on for book of the month. But I have on my list pulled, hopefully, to get to Watching You and Then She Was Gone. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of really liked the new one, but it's like apples to oranges because they're totally different plots. But yeah, I really liked it. So in this book, we first meet. There is a family. Rowan is a psychologist, and him and his wife move into like a rental house because their house was being like renovated, and across the street from them was this really creepy neighbor named Owen. And used to, Rowan had in therapy this girl named Sapphire. Sapphire turns out missing, but turns out she was stalking Rowan because she found out he was having an affair, and it was all this commotion, and then everyone's pointing the finger at Owen. So, did you think Owen kidnapped her, or did you know that it was something different? Yes, Owen was creepy. Look at some of these comments. Yeah, Sarah, she started with rom-com. There was a book called Ralph. I don't know. I don't know how many of those she had. There was a few. And then switched to, I don't know what her first. Okay, so Ralph's Party, 30 Nothing, One Hit Wonder were all rom-coms. It looks like she started getting into psychological thrillers, I guess about maybe 2010 is what it looks like. I don't know. I haven't read any of those. Yeah, Trisha, I kind of felt it was like a unreliable narrator where we're getting these one scenes from Owen where he's telling us, I did not do this. There's no way I could have done this. And then a blackout, and come to find out he did it. The Sun gave me vibes. The dad gave me vibes. Owen gave me vibes. I never really thought about what happened to her when she was young coming back. But so that kind of came out of left field for me and made it a shock, a twist, and I wasn't expecting that twist. Does it ever feel like anticlimactic to you when you think it's going to be something a certain way and then out of left field, here comes what really happened? Where you're like, oh, where'd that come from? Okay, some people are having issues getting on YouTube. Are you all using it in the app or on browser? And I think you do have to have an actual Google account to be able to comment. Yeah, Dad was a scuzz bucket. Okay, you all are in the app. Rachel, I go back and forth. Like, sometimes if I can predict it, it makes me feel really good about myself that I was able to figure out where the author was going. But other times, like you said, if it's so predictable the entire time, it's so boring. So I guess it really just depends on if the author is giving us good clues or if they're just not a very good writer. Sarah Landis, will you tell Susie what these people are saying so she can get on? Yeah. So if any of you have read The Family Upstairs, she is writing a sequel to that. And I don't know if it's a prequel or a sequel. Somebody will have to look that up for me. But she is writing a book to go with The Family Upstairs. So it could be before, it could be after Libby, but I'm not for sure. Okay, Susie, I think, figured it out. I think what happened is it was a long time since she read the book. Hi, Susie. So, Alicia, did you think that was unrealistic, them bringing in Harrison? Or do you think that kind of made sense where they were putting someone who has a literary knowledge? Tell me if I'm using this right, but is that what you would call like a red herring, where we've got a little bit of the clues that something bad happened to her, but we don't know exactly what it is, and it's leaving just enough breadcrumbs for us to kind of follow that trail? Because I could be totally using that wrong. Yeah, I mean, it did make sense once we were explained that with all of her sneaking around, she had plenty of opportunities to see everybody in that village. It wasn't some extremely random where she happened to be out there one day and there he was. She gave them many opportunities to see people. Okay, so really Owen would have been our red herring then, in that we were looking at him and the dad and Josh when really it was this Harrison dude. Okay, so I had that backwards. So did anybody else think it was whenever the mom found the dad's clothes in Josh's room and then he washed them and returned them, did anyone think, oh, that's not good? He did something in those clothes and then washed them to cover up and then put them back in dad's closet. And then why does dad have some weird mask? That's weird too. It did. It made him look really guilty. I thought for sure that there was something going on with him. But really, he was just a precious little feller who loved his mama and wanted to make sure she wasn't getting screwed over. I don't know, like, Dad gave me terrible vibes. I knew he was gross, but I really didn't think he was the one committing these things. I thought he was just a terrible parent, and Josh was the one who was more. Oh, that's a good point. Maybe Rowan hid the clothes in Josh's room for Mom not to see. Yeah. So it did. It kind of wrapped up in a really nice bow where we find out that, okay, Mom finds out about the affair. Dad moves somewhere else. Sapphire moves on. Josh moves on. I was kind of hoping that Josh and Sapphire would end up together, but and then Harrison was the one who did all these bad things. But it did. I didn't have any questions. I didn't think there was a whole lot of holes. I should have pulled this up earlier. Oh, he was. Okay. That's right. I love books that come with discussion questions in the back instead of me having to go look them up. Yeah, I think he did all of them. I think Harrison was the one that did all of them because that's why Tilly made up about it being maybe the man next door was because she didn't want anyone to know that she knew who it was. Carson.
Why is Shellfish so nervous?
Here, come here and tell them. Here, you can come here and tell them. Carson wants to tell you a joke. Here, come here. Here. Get in the frame. Well, you don't need to hear. Okay, here. Tell your joke.
Why is Shellfish so nervous? 'Cause it's selfish. Get it?
Why is this shellfish so nervous?
No, why is selfish?
Oh. That's funny. All right, go on.
And I got that.
Thank you, Carson, for pulling down my closet.
And I got that. Why?
If they started seeing each other the previous year, the timeline doesn't make sense. Carson, go. Go. No, not right now. Go on. Rowan said he interviewed a young boy that I will sell him to anybody who wants him. Y'all think he's cute, but really he's mean. So my husband was supposed to be home tonight, but last second he had to go to a job, and that's why no one is watching them. Yeah, he's a brat. Okay, reading group grad. Here we go. Okay. All right, it was told from 3 different perspectives: Sapphire, Kate, and Owen. Was there one character in particular whose point of view you were intrigued by? How might you have felt about these characters had you not been provided with a first-person account of their lives? Why do you think Lisa Jewell structured her novel this way and chose these people to focus on? Oh, they're way past Paw Patrol. They don't care about Paw Patrol anymore. Okay, so I feel like if we hadn't had Owen's point of view, we would have hated him. But hearing his brain, we kind of sympathize with him, or at least I did. If we didn't have Kate's chapters, we might have thought she was an idiot overlooking some things. But because we had her thoughts, we could kind of see where her head was at. And I liked Sapphire's too because it gave us an outside picture about this family as what she was seeing. Rachel, 100%. That really surprised me. I liked that too. Because, I do think a lot of men, they mansplain, they're misogynist, all these things, and that's bad. But a lot of times they don't realize they're doing it. And for him to kind of been educated on his shortcomings and then be like, oh, I did treat you poorly. I did say things that were offensive. But I didn't realize it, but I am acknowledging that I hurt you and I'm owning up to that. And let's fix it. Let's help me not say things like that. Yeah, those three were the victims. Yeah. I usually always kind of like relate to the housewife in every book. Yeah. And once a cheater, always a cheater. And she knew Rowan had done it before. Okay, so we're first introduced to Owen by Georgia, who describes him as creepy. And then later says he looks totally rapey, despite never having interacted with him. We only hear from Owen himself nearly 60 pages into the novel, at which point he has already been called creepy 3 times. What did you think of Owen actually meeting him? As the novel unfolded, what descriptive details about him did you feel fit the stereotypical creepy bill? Do you think that Georgia's first reaction was justified? So basically, we've already been talking about that. That we thought something was off, and then with the sexual harassment claims and blah blah blah, we were thinking, oh, something's weird about this dude for sure. And then as it went on, though, hearing his thoughts and all that, I kind of was like, this dude is like just 40-year-old virgin. He doesn't, he just has no game. He's been isolated for so much of his life that he just doesn't know any social situations. You know what, Rachel? I didn't think about him being on the spectrum, but now that I'm thinking about it, he definitely has some tendencies. So, with Sapphire having childhood trauma, how much do you think that played a role on her current behavior? And also, Owen's abandonment. How do they each confront and work through those things over the course of the novel? Okay, so with Sapphire, she didn't let people get close to her. And then Owen was kind of the same way. I mean, yeah, I would have thought he was creepy too. And his aunt didn't want him either, but he didn't have anywhere else to go. Dad didn't want him. Dad's girlfriend didn't, or Dad's wife didn't want him. Yeah. Yeah, he definitely had some abandonment issues, mommy issues, where he didn't know how to act towards women. All right, don't know what happened there. Is everybody still here? Okay, Owen's friend Bryn made me think of Deuce Bigelow. That's funny. So I totally was picturing Jack Black, though, for Bryn's character. Yeah. Yeah, and she did not feel like she was ready, and he pushed her without asking. I mean, yeah, I guess if a patient is not forthcoming, but I don't think he did his due diligence. Just because somebody stops self-harming themselves doesn't mean the inside is all cleared up. Yeah. I mean, especially if this therapist is getting paid for it. Why would you want to end it? You have a paying client here who wants to come. Why are you telling them they can't? Even if they sit there for the whole hour and not say anything, they're still a paying client. Yeah, he clearly was not very good at his job. So both Sapphire and Owen didn't think Kate had a life. That she was just, Owen even said, what do women like this think about when it's just them and the kids are in bed and they've got one of those gigantic fish bowls of wine in their hands? What are they when they're not at the gym or collecting these children from school? Where do they exist on the scale of humanity? And then Sapphire, upon learning of Rowan's cheating, has a similar train of thought. So, how does Kate ultimately end up taking control of her life and regaining what she calls the moral high ground? Yeah, she attached herself to him. Now, Rowan's girlfriend had said that she walked in on Owen kind of having a fantasy of like a rape scene. So after she said that, I was like, oh, he's guilty of something. He must be the one doing the sexual assaults. Yeah, she dumps Rowan. She has him move on. She's going to open her own practice. So that's good for her. I'm glad she had a good outcome. He was reading Harrison's rape fantasy and was enjoying it. So that's weird. Harrison should have been committed. It's kind of weird just talking to myself, so I'm sorry if I'm quiet a bunch because I'm just reading comments and trying to bounce off of just talking to myself. So if I'm awkward and not saying a bunch, that's why. Owen did the last assault. He did? I'm not remembering that one. Sasha, where did you go? Didn't you literally just finish this book like an hour ago? I didn't think he did any of them either. Unless she's just being facetious. Yeah, that could be true too. He just didn't get caught. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say I didn't think that it was Owen, but we all know how much I forget stuff, and I finished this a couple of days ago. Now, a lot of people say Lisa Jewell are a big hit or miss for them. What do you all think? I've, across the board, given her book 4 and 5 stars. The sweat flicking thing, that's gross. Like, I couldn't even imagine that in my head, how that happened. Like, was that they're at it, he's just sweating and he like flicks it onto, oh, that's okay. I just hadn't seen you. Yeah. So has anybody read The Night She Disappeared yet? I won't spoil anything, I promise. Yeah, me too. Would anybody be interested in a backlist book, like from a long time ago? Not one of her rom-coms, but like maybe one of her early psych thrillers? And we could try to find it and do a book club chat about it, and then compare like her writing and how it's improved over the years. All right, I'll work on trying to figure out a good one. The Third Wife was really good. Yeah, Trisha. So I feel like with this one, with Invisible Girl, there was some form of like suspense where like something is actively happening. But in The Night She Disappeared, it was more we find out right from the beginning and fast forward like a year later. So there's not so much like we're scared or worried for something that's going to pop out and get us. It's more what happened along the way. And sometimes that's kind of boring. So Robin, I've only read 5, if I can remember. The Girls in the Garden, which I had forgot when I originally signed on. The Girls in the Garden was my first one. And then I read The Family Upstairs, The Third Wife, The Night She Disappeared, and then Invisible Girl. So I'm pretty sure I've only read 5 of them. I liked the title, how that actually portrayed something about the book where Sapphire feels like she's invisible, and that's when she feels the most comfortable in herself. The time jump was very confusing in The Night She Disappeared because we have present day, and then we have, well, 2018, but it was their present day. And then you have the mother's point of view from like 2017, and then we have the daughter's point of view from like 2016. So it was like 3 timelines from 3 different point of views, and it was just really hard.
Mama, one
Yeah.
day could you sign me up for soccer?
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm great at it.
He wants to play soccer because he's great at it, so that must mean that he is kicking a ball in the house when he's not supposed to be kicking a ball in the house. That's nice. Any other moms out there who have fed their kids chicken nuggets 3 times this week? Because Sunday, okay, twice, because it's only Wednesday. Sunday and Wednesday they've had. Riley had it last night and tonight and Sunday. Mom of the year. The plaque is in the mail. But yeah, 3 timelines is kind of hard to follow. You all know I'm a sucker for dual timelines. I like that. But 3 was kind of hard to follow when they were close together, so it was really easy to mix up. Right? You do. You just got to do what you got to do. Especially when you're an autism mom. And I know I should be making him eat different things, but sometimes you just don't want to hear them complain about it. So there's protein. It gets his belly full. Eat it. At least I cooked it in the air fryer and I didn't get it from McDonald's. There's bigger battles to fight sometimes than him getting to eat what he wants. Yeah. He would be happy with chicken nuggets, plain noodles, and peanut butter and jelly, and hot dogs. Robin, I really agree. It was really unrealistic. I don't want to spoil anything, so I won't give away anything more than that. But it was like, what? We might have to do a chat about that one. We'll have to do a Lisa Jewell fan club and get all of her backlist. But I think what really made me love Lisa Jewell was the family upstairs. Like, I did really like The Girls in the Garden. I liked it a lot. But the family upstairs, I don't know. There was just, she's so atmospheric of a writer that you just feel like you're in her story. You can see and feel everything that she's explaining to you. And I just mesh well with her.
This is what I get for being the best
Okay.
player.
All right, so let's see here. So it seems like Then She Was Gone and Watching You are her 2 biggest ones that I haven't read yet. I think like her bestsellers are The Family Upstairs, Then She Was Gone, Invisible Girl, and Watching You are like her biggest. Yeah, like she's not a super heavy writer. Like, you can get through it in a day or 2 or 4, whatever is your speed. But like, if this was sometimes a historical fiction book, it can feel a lot heavier. So what you're saying is I need to bump up Then She Was Gone. Yeah, Alex, and I think you were the one who first used that word when we were talking about it, that atmospheric. Her writing is just so clever. Like, it's just really good. I have Watching You, and I have Then She Was Gone. So, you all tell me. And of course I can find other ones. But yeah, I definitely want to read her backlist. Not her. I don't really care anything about reading the rom-coms. Was there any animal abuse? Oh, I don't know. Somebody who have read Then She Was Gone. Is there any animal abuse? Yes. So I think Tessa and I read The Girls in the Garden right around the same time. And I loved it and she hated it. Totally agree. Yep. You can have an excellent plot and not be a very good writer. And you can have a so-and-so plot where nothing really ever happens, but it was just great writing. See, I consider hamsters like mice, and I don't really care about mice. Now, if it was a puppy, that'd be hard. Right, so does anybody have any more points about Invisible Girl before we move on in our chat? Yeah, if you live in the country, like I do, surrounded by fields, you get your fair share of mice no matter how clean your house is, because every time they bush hog the field in front of us or they harvest the other field, there are mice coming to find somewhere to live and they want my nice warm home. So I have killed my fair share. Okay, so today's the 13th. See, I don't mind a brutal crime. Like, one of my favorite books is Pretty Girls, and whoa, that is gruesome and just bad. And it was detailed. And, Robin, I would love to have a cat inside, but I'm very allergic. And I can't have a cat outside because they somehow always get into trash or stuff they're not supposed to, or they get run over because, yeah, I've tried to have outside cats before, and let's just say they don't live for very long. And I hate that. But yes, add Pretty Girls to your list. I kind of wonder if all the other Karen Slaughter, is that how you say her name? Books are like that. Isn't that funny? She's a thriller writer and her last name's Slaughter. But did anyone else think Sapphire was going to take down Owen? Like she was going to expose him? Like she thought something weird was going on. So I just picked up False Witness from the library, and I'm hoping it's on the same level as Pretty Girls, but I haven't really heard much reviews about it yet. Why are we like that? Why do we like weird stuff? Like, I was laughing to myself earlier. I had come home after dropping the boys at school, and I was so tired, so I laid down and took a nap. And when I take a nap and I'm home by myself, I turn on Dateline, like at a level 4 volume where I really can't hear what's going on at all. But I think it's that, the really old guy with the white hair. What is his name? Is it Rick or something like that? But yeah, so I like to fall asleep to Dateline. What is wrong with me? Okay, so today is the 13th, and we don't have anything scheduled for next week, but who's excited about the X-Hex? Has anybody started it yet? I'm getting extremely mixed reviews. Yeah, I kind of feel like I shouldn't have checked it out when I did. I should have let the next person in line have it, because I do have too much. I do have too much right now. So has anybody started the X-Hex yet? I'm interested to know. So is it worth going back and starting the Will Trent series? Because it's long. Now Riley's saying hello. Yeah. If you know all the bad things, you can avoid them. Now, I actually am like 12 credit hours shy of a criminal justice degree. I don't even think it's that many hours. So I don't know. I'm just so intrigued by crime. Now, I would fold totally under pressure. I would never be able to commit one. Or, like, if I ever got questioned by the police, I'd be like, oh, okay, lock me up. I did it. I would have zero backbone, but I'm so intrigued by it. Yeah, like sometimes I just really like a palate cleanser. It doesn't always have to be some big, huge, life changing, groundbreaking book. It can be something fun and just, I like to read for entertainment. I don't read to be a literary critic or anything like that. I read to be entertained the same way that I would watch a TV show or a movie. I just want to be entertained. That's all I care about. Agree. And I'm reading Apples Never Fall, and I think it's going to be pretty heavy. Which, I mean, it is heavy. It's almost 500 pages, but like this month, it's thriller mostly, with a couple of like paranormal and magical realism romance thrown in. Yeah. Wait, who, Stasha? You mean um, Apples Never Fall author, which I cannot pronounce her name. I'm not even going to try. Or Karen Slaughter, because those are big too. Robin, we were talking about that earlier in our admin chat group. Like, I think Alex and Jill were trying to buy something from Target, and they were trying to pre-order, but it was all sold out. That's awesome. So that was my goal, Amy, was to go to law school. But I only made it to my junior year of college. I just honestly, I wasn't I had untreated ADHD, which is probably one major huge reason for it. I went to a college far from home. I knew no one there. No one from my school went except for like two people that I didn't know. Um, and so I just really did not do well and moved home. I think if I would have started and did my first 2 years from home and then went to a university, I would have been so much more successful. But you live and you learn, and now I'm 32, and that ship has sailed. It's about cadavers. Is it a nonfiction or fiction? Stasha, I got approved for that Christmas book, so I'm probably going to start it after I finish the audio I'm listening to now. In my car, I'm listening to 123 by, cannot think of her name, but she's the same one that wrote This Is How It Always Is. What is her name? Lori is Frankie or something like that. I don't know. But it's really good. I'm getting Major Aaron Brockovich maybe you could finish it now, Amy. You seem like you've got a great head on your shoulders. It's in the point of view of 3 triplets. And they are from a town that has been, the water was poisoned, and so a lot of their citizens have extremely bad issues now. A lot of the children have cognitive issues and health issues and everything. And the plant that did this to them is now coming back to open another plant in their town. And I'm about halfway, and it's really good. No, keep doing it. Yeah, I mean, and I know 32 is still really young, but I would be almost 40 by the time I finished my bachelor's degree, finished law school, and then did, internships and all of that. And I live in a really small town. I would have to travel extremely far to go to law school, and I have 2 children, one with autism. It's just not in the cards for me now. But that's okay. My life goal is to write a book, and I think I've mentioned that to you all before. So one day I'll do that. So now I know that I can come to Amy and Rachel if I need some point of views for law and the inside working of the mind when I'm writing my book. Someone else, is it maybe Kate? I know she's not in here right now, but I think she has a psychology degree too. I don't know, Robin. It's a good question. I go back and forth all the time. I would love to write a historical fiction book. Okay, so this is kind of my rough outline right now. It's a dual timeline between this girl, and I haven't figured out the character from the past, but she inherits a farm, and on the farm she finds bones, and she figures out who did it. So is it her grandfather who left her the farm? Did he do this? Or was it something else? So I don't know. That could be so overplayed, but I'd like to one day. And I did, after I left college, I did go get my license in cosmetology. And I've done that for several years. But then I quit to stay home with Riley and Carson. Well, if I ever get to writing it, you all will be my beta readers. Surely somebody in our group is an editor. So none of my family's on here, so I'll give a little bit of a secret. My mother had a cousin who died as a toddler, and it was suspicious, but not suspicious enough. And he was probably malnourished. So that, and my great grandparents had this farm, and their children, Mom, if you're on here, I'm sorry that I'm putting this on the internet, but their children fought over who would get the farm. So all of that together has kind of put this idea in my head. Yeah, and I think Colleen Hoover made a post the other day where she was like, I cannot read every book on the shelf. So if there's a book that's similar to what I just put out, there's no way for me to know about that unless someone tells me. So, and you could read the same plot over and over and over and over again. Like with Locked Roomed Mysteries, I will always read them, but it's in the details that there's something different, something unique that makes it different than these other books. So just because it's kind of similar doesn't mean I stole the idea, and doesn't mean it's not a good book in its own right. You all are so sweet. Y'all are like my little hype men. But in this season of my life, it's very hard to come up with any sort of time. And I love to read, and all the writers I've talked to in their writing, when they're writing, they can't really read much. We do have the absolute best group on the internet, hands down. I might be biased, but we absolutely do. And like we have over 11,000 members in our group. But like we were just talking about this the other day, there's like a core of like 100 of you all that are the ones who come to chats and participate in the challenges and all of this. And like I feel like I've extremely gotten to know you all, and you've become like my real friends. Yeah, like romance. I can read the same plot over and over again. Boy meets girl in a cute way. They get to know each other. They have a misunderstanding where they could have worked it out with communication, but they didn't. So they are mad at each other for something they could have easily worked out. And then one of them figures it out and grand gesture, and they live happily ever after. Yeah, like I don't want to bad talk anybody, but like the other day, a very sweet member who I value tremendously had a post, and there was some negative comments on it, and it bothered me really bad. And they're talking about how book groups are so negative, like this is so negative. And I'm like, I don't know how long you've been here, but you're not seeing that in our group. Like, you're seeing that in other groups. That's not here, because we'll straight call you out if you're acting like a turd. You're not going to do that here. Yeah. And that's why the challenges originally started. Actually, what started the challenges in this group was Danielle. And they started, it was like a 3-month challenge. And then in the middle of that challenge, I became an admin. And then we started doing monthly challenges because people were very overwhelmed with the big amount of prompts. So then we started doing like 4 and 5 book monthly challenges. And it just was such a hit. The themes, and it was really helping people narrow down what they wanted to read. And there's so many books in the world that it's extremely hard to figure out what you want to read. So having book club chats and monthly challenges really helps guide you. That's awesome. Well, thank you, Amy. That's really sweet. Yeah, I mean, it's not going to happen here. Like, we don't talk about politics. We don't talk about religion. We don't talk about all of that. Rachel, what could make it something that would be fun for you? Would it be something that's a lot smaller? Like, we used to try to keep the month ones down to like 4 or 5 books, but we've kind of gone crazy with it. And I used to think I had to finish every single challenge. Now, I don't finish any of them because I pretty much just read what I want to. But I think it's fun to just kind of try, and you never know. It's just, I'm a planner by nature, so that's fun for me. But yeah, what can we do to make it not intimidating that would make you really excited about it to want to do it? Because I've heard that from other people. I'm going to save rock, paper, scissors, I think, for January, maybe, because it's like winter, right? I don't know, I'm weird. Maybe I'll get to it in November. What's stiff about? There's been 2 or 3 of you mention it already now. Has that one missed my radar? Set in February, so remind me to read it in February. My goal for 2022 is to read books that I own. I don't know why that keeps kicking me off. Yeah. Okay, so have a smaller option to go along with the bigger one. We can do that. I'm working on November's right now, and it's going to be very small. It is not like even the main challenge is going to be very small. Like it's just going to have 5 total. And I don't really know where I want to go with it yet. I've started working on it. And then Sarah's working on the December challenge, and it's going to be really fun. And it honestly, it doesn't matter the way she's going to have it. It doesn't matter how many you get. One, you've completed, or 15. Um, it doesn't matter. It's going to be really fun. So, okay, 2022, I'm only getting books from NetGalley or Book of the Month. I'm not going to be buying any other books besides my Book of the Month box. And then if I don't get approved for it through NetGalley, I'll try to go through the library. If my library doesn't get it, which my library is amazing, I'm going to sell past books and only purchase books from that fund. I have a Venmo card, and I'm only going to buy books from that card with money I've made from selling my books. I've got to rein it in. Remind me what our January challenge was. I don't remember. I love the chats because it's like hanging out with my friends, and I don't do that in real life. I don't have time to. So this is just, it's a way of connecting and hanging out with you guys, and I love it.
Oh.
You okay? Stop. Stop. Boy, Mom. Got a feather here from a turkey or something. Go! Yeah, somebody remind me what our January challenge is. I don't remember. Oh, no, the teams. Yes. We're not going to talk about my NetGalley list. It is insane. I let it slip away from me in 2021 where I requested a lot more than what I could read. Actually wrote it down. My NetGalley backlist of the ones that I requested was approved for and haven't read yet. And it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 pages. So I'm really going to be trying to get through those. I love that. Yeah, I feel like having the team challenge, which I'd been an admin of this group since 2019, but the team challenge is what really got us where we got to know each other more, I think. And we got to know a smaller group of people. That was fun. We did. We kicked butt. And I thought we weren't, because Sarah's team was real. Like, they all 3 teams were like really doing amazing. And then we pulled it out. I think what really set us apart was we were reading smarter. So, like, we were reading books that were counting in multiple categories, like a book of the month book, a book of the year nominee, so many pages, blah, blah, blah. And we should do that every January. That's not a terrible idea, because we would have just announced our year challenge, and that would be a way that it doesn't matter if you read 1 or 20, every point counts, and you don't have to worry about another challenge. You're just reading, whatever, and it counts. That's a really good idea. So we've got our November challenge that I'm working on. Sarah's working on the December challenge. Susie's working on a shorter year challenge. And then we're all together working on our year challenge, the 52 prompt. So I know that's a lot to keep up with, but with your year challenge and all the monthly ones, they can totally cross. So, like, if you're doing the year challenge and February challenge, all 5 of your February books can count towards your year challenge. I mean, it's just for fun. Like, it should not be stressful. Reading should never be stressful. But back to NetGalley, Stasha, I am going to be much better about it in 2022. Well, Robin, if there ever comes a day where our YouTube has, I think it's like 10,000 people, I think you can get like ad revenue, but there's as far as I know, there's no way to monetize a Facebook group. And it's a love of reading. Like right now, it's not a job. And I feel like if money was involved, it would become a job. And jobs are stressful. No matter if you have the best job in the world, jobs are still stressful. And as of now, it's a hobby. And that makes it fun. But hi, Jessica. I've not seen you on a chat in a while. Jessica is one of our OG members. Like, from, like, the first month, I feel like. Yeah, 2020, we exploded. I think a lot of it was with COVID, people were getting back into reading because they were home. No, I love that you do that, Stasha. But I am going to be a lot pickier about what I pick. So for the rest of the year, for me, if anybody is interested, I'm doing thriller and some magical realism for the rest of October. November, I'm doing my NetGalley books for November and finishing the book of the month challenge other than my last one, which is the last book of the month you read of the year. So that'll be my December pick. And then December is literally going to be nothing but Christmas books and the one book of the month for our chat. Yeah. You know, and sometimes I'm like, why do I even do book of the month when I can just get these titles at Amazon or whatever? But it's just fun. It's just fun. And you can't get, I've already lost that book now. Like this book was $9.99 because it was an add-on. But it's $28 full price. So that's almost $20 savings. And there's just, I don't know, there's just such a community that even though our group is not book of the month anymore, it's still such a huge part of who we are. Yeah, October is all about thriller and horror books. Okay, let me find my. So for sure in December, I've got Dear Santa, which is Debbie Makecomer's new book. I've got The Santa Suit, which is Mary Kay Andrews' new book. The Christmas Bookshop. I cannot remember her name right now, but she is sweet as pie. Jenny Colgan has a new Christmas book. Maybe that is The Christmas Bookshop. It's the Jenny Colgan book. Always in December. Okay, yeah. The Christmas Bookshop is Jenny Colgan's Christmas book. And then I've got Christmas by the Book, always in December. The Christmas Village, Nick and Noelle's Christmas Playlist, The Holiday Swap, which looks really cute. I'm all over the place, I'm sorry. But Rachel, I just finished The House on Needless Street last week, and it's great. It's listed as a horror, but it's like horror and psychological thriller had a baby, and it's so good. Yeah, and I saw where Dear Santa, like, it's already on my library, like, hold list. And it's only like 4 hours, so it's not long. Ellen Hildebrand's Winter Street series is absolutely amazing. I read all 4 of them last December. Be prepared to cry. I think I cried in all of them, and then, like, I lost a family member in the 4th book. Bye, Trisha. Thanks for joining. I probably should do the same, but we'll catch you when we do the X-Hex. So I have Mexican Gothic, and I keep meaning to read it. I just haven't prioritized it yet. No. Trouble in Paradise is not a Christmas book. It is set in the winter time, though. It's like right after New Year's is when the first book is set. And I can't remember. Yeah, it's right after New Year's is when the first book is set. And then it's like over the next year, year and a half. But it's not a Christmas book. So far this year, I've read one Christmas book, and it was Christmas in Peachtree Bluff. It was so good, but it's the 4th in a series. So if you haven't read her first 3, I mean, I guess you could read it as a standalone, but there's so much information and character growth by Rachel that you would be missing if you just jumped straight to the 4th book. But I highly suggest those. Even though I haven't read them yet, would you like for me to put together a post of Christmas books I'm anticipating and that I'm excited to read this year? I can't really recommend them yet because I haven't read them, but they're the ones that I've researched and I want to read. Would that be something, Robin, you would be interested in reading, and well, obviously anybody else? Yes, okay, good. I'll work on that. And then November has some really good books. Where's My Stephanie Plum? I know Stasha loves her as much as I do. There's somebody else who loves that series as much as we do. Thank you. So at first, when I was doing my pub day posts, I was like stressing myself out trying to find every book coming out that day, and also trying to be diverse. And like, there's a major problem, and that's a whole nother chat about our publishing industry and how they're not very inclusive, because it's extremely hard to research books by pub date. There's no huge database that I can find where it's easy for me to find all the books being published on a certain day. So like, you're just having to scour Goodreads, and you could miss so much. And I, like, seriously, I was stressing myself out about it so bad. And then one week I was like, you know what? I'm just going to focus on what I'm excited for. And I will always ask the question, what books are not on my list that you're excited for? Please put them in the comments. That way, if somebody else sees it, they can add that to their list. But it was to the point where I was spending probably 4 or 5 hours a week, and I can't do that. Okay, so November, just on my personal list so far, just from NetGalley, I have Game On, which is the new Stephanie Plum book, The Hookup Dilemma, which is a person of color author, and main characters but I can't remember the name of that. An Heiress's Guide to Deception and Desire, which is Mana Collins. The Singles Table, which is the third in the Dating Plan series, which I absolutely love. Wish You Were Here is the new Jodi Picoult. A Certain Appeal. I can't remember the author of that one. Or Never Fall for Your Fiance. The Hidden is by the girl who wrote Little Darlings. So she was a past book of the month. The Sister Suite. I can't remember the name of that author. The Replacement Wife, which is Darby Kane, who wrote Pretty Little Wife, who was a book of the month, and Hidden Treasures. I can't remember the name of that author either. I personally... Oh, I also have Sophie Cousin's book. You know, Sophie's in our group. She's like an actual member, and I love that. As far as these books, I don't know. Maybe The Singles Table, since she is a person of color. It was very popular, I thought. Maybe that one might. Some people were saying Wish You Were Here, but I would really be shocked if they picked a Jodi Picoult book because they never have before, and she's so established. It's rare for Book of the Month to pick such a popular author. I love her. I mean, it would sell well. Never Fall for Your Fiance could maybe fit into Book of the Month. But I don't know. I quit guessing. I used to be able to predict them well before 2020. I totally missed a whole year. I used to be able to predict them well before 2021. But now I can't. Like, if they were just picking from the month, like, okay, if they were just picking for November releases for November, then I would be able to predict fairly well. But they're like pulling things out from left field. Like, there's going to be a book from the first week of January being a November pick. And it's like, how am I supposed to come up with 10 predictions if we have 500 books to pick from? So I love Sophie. I love her book. I don't think it will be a pick. But it might. But it just doesn't, I don't know. She was so sweet. Like, I want to make her my best friend. Yeah, she's precious. I think Susie pointed it out today that there was a new one. Why are they doing that? Is that to get people to join in the middle of the month? Like, new members? And then if they join now, they can get this box and then just be ready for when November box is, like, the first. Okay, yeah, that's what it was. It's like a thriller. Yeah, Susie showed us that today. Because they did that with Apples Never Fall last month. I feel like the reason they're doing that is a marketing thing. Where it's like, we're holding this to the middle of the month, so new members, as an incentive to join. And I'm not being ugly here, but I cracked up at the blog posts that are predictions, and they have like 10 books per category. And then they're like, I got 3 right. Yeah, out of 45 predictions. Maybe that is ugly of me, but I always cracked up at that. The author of Silverview passed away. Was the book published? I'm not going to say this word right. You know, when something's published after you die, post something. I can see it spelled out. I just can't pronounce it. Was Apple... But do you remember, though, Jessica? This has been a while back. It was Long Bright River, I think. And it was like, if you want, they had it ready to pick, but then if you picked that book, your box wasn't going to ship until like middle of the month. But go ahead and pick it. We just can't ship it yet. So why did they quit doing it like that? Yeah, that's probably it. All right, well, I better get these boys in bed because they still have to do baths. He's so rotten. My oldest will be 8 in 10 days. I can't believe it. All right, does anybody have any last points before I sign off here? Okay, so give me a list of what I need to work on. I'm working on November challenge and a Christmas post. What else? Is that it? They're a mess. I cannot believe 2021 is almost over. Like November and December, that's it. Yeah, 2022 year challenges are going to be... No, I didn't see that. Yeah, challenges for 2022 are going to be really good. I didn't see that, but I do want to touch base on this real fast. I mean, there's only 6 of you here, so it's not going to spread far. There was so much negativity surrounding the Book of the Year posts, and I have issues because A, why was it so early? And B, I felt like we didn't get a fair shake for nominating books. But people keep saying, how is this book here? Well, I'm going to tell you, it's there because over half the members bought it and then they voted on it. That's why it's there. It's not a literary challenge. It's Book of the Year, and they're going by sales and popularity. But, I mean, people, I don't know, people make people feel guilty for liking books that they like and then try to talk down to them that Malibu Rising wasn't, you know, some groundbreaking literary classic. That shouldn't be there. I don't know. It is what it is. But all right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. I appreciate it. Thank you for dealing with me and my one-man rambling. But I appreciate it. I know we didn't talk about the book for a long time, but we did just have a nice chat. You know, maybe sometime we'll just do some lives and just hang out. We don't have any books to talk about. We just chat. So, all right, I hope you all enjoy your night, and I will see you next time. Bye.